All right, welcome to day one of the IG Reels Bootcamp. Today is all about a diagnostic of the camera tool in Instagram. So again, beginner's mind here. I want you just to really try to see this with fresh eyes. Let's all act as if we've never seen an Instagram Reels camera before. Okay, so if you open Instagram, quite often what you'll open to is your home page. You can always look down here and see which of these feeds is darker. And so right now with the dark, that means that that's on the home page. Of course, there's the search. This is the Reels feed. This is the shopping feed. And then this is my feed, right? My own profile and grid. So if I go to the home page, there's our friend Niklaus. If you don't follow Niklaus, you should. You can do two things. You can access the camera either by clicking the plus sign up here, and that will open up your camera roll at the bottom. Any drafts you might have, it's going to open up the first image or video that you might have actually on your in your photo albums. But you can slide here, this little ticker here, story, reel, or live. So that's how you can access the Reel camera. You can also simply, when you're in your home feed, just slide over to the side. And again, you have this little slider here to go between the different types of content. So let's say we're going to Reel. If you've used stories, the camera is very, very similar. You'll see here, you can actually reverse the camera. So, hi, it's me. You can go back to our little pin here. I thought that'd be cute. And that's the best way to get the camera. You can also zoom in. If you use two fingers, you can zoom out if you have the right kind of iPhone, of course, is what I'm using here. Now, of course, you can't really zoom out on the reverse camera, the one, the selfie camera that faces you. You can zoom in a little bit, but the quality of this camera is never as good as the one on this side. So I highly recommend that if you play around with these settings, sometimes you'll be happy with what you get. Let's see if I can zoom back in. Now, the camera does a bunch of things that most people don't even know. So if you want to record a video, right, I can simply just tap the middle button once and it will start to record. And then I can tap again and it will stop. What I want you to start to notice up here at the top is that there is a measurement that measures how much time you have left to record in this particular reel. So if I click this X, I can discard what I've done so far. And it'll tell me right here, I have 90 seconds under which I can make a reel. If I want to do 15 or 30, for this, we're going to do the standard 15. Most Reels, when Reels was created, was just 15 seconds. And now they've made it available to do even more. You can tap here to focus. So if I want to focus on the rock over here, I can go back here. If I zoom out, I could probably focus up here and see what happens. So I'm going back here. I want to focus on the pin. So if I tap once, it'll start recording. If I tap again, now, what I can also do is hold my finger down and it will record as long as I have my finger pressed. And then if I release it, it will stop. And again, you'll see here this little red line. It's telling me that I'm almost about halfway through the time that I have left. If I want to, I can put my finger down again on the record button and slide to zoom in and slide to zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out. Let go. I have now pretty much completed this reel. Okay. Now you'll see once I've completed the reel, it automatically plays, and you can see the white line down here at the bottom will show you that it's playing and how long it has until it starts to loop again. So it will play on loop until I click next, or if I want to click edit clips, which we'll get to in just 1 second. Something I want you to know to note is now that I've finished all of the time that I had in this 15-second reel, I no longer have the camera options that were available on the side. It is now in a publishing mode, which we will talk about in a second. You can download at this state, you can download the video that you made and save it to your camera roll, and it will not have any watermark or anything on it. I think that's important for people to know. So let's go back. Now, if I tap back, it'll show you I have no time left up here in the reel. It's not playing, so it's stopped. This is the end of the reel. Okay, and then up here, we'll talk about those in a sec. We'll talk about effects, but I want to close that out. This is how I can go back, and if I don't like this, I can X. I can either save as a draft or discard. So maybe you have a reel that you want to make that, you know, you've probably seen some of these where people are like going on vacation and they're shooting inside their home, and then they step on the camera, and when they remove their foot, they're on vacation. You could save the first half as a draft and then come back in when you're in Tahiti on the beach to record the second half, right? But let's just go ahead and discard this video, because I also want to show you up here, there is a flash button. So in this situation, what will happen is if I click auto, it will automatically decide if I need more light, and it will use the flashlight portion of my phone to light up. Although it's not doing it, if because I have it on auto. So if I don't have it on auto, the flashlight will come on and I have a little extra light. If I put it on auto, it will determine how dark it is, or I can just leave it like that, which means the flash will never come on. Let's see, discard this. Some other things to just note up here in settings, you can actually go in and set your camera settings so that you can default to the front camera if you're somebody who's doing a lot of selfie stuff. If you're not right-handed and you want the tools to be on the other side, you can switch those around. You can also customize them specifically for stories, reels, and live, since each camera is slightly different. I like to save my reels to my device just in case I ever lose them. What else to tell you about the camera? So you have a lot of options here. We're not going to talk about music today because I want to save that for audio. But we're going to talk again. Here you have your settings for time. So if you want to change your settings, you have to do that before you start recording. Once you start recording, you cannot change the time setting that you have. Because once you start recording, let's say I do a little bit and I have 30 seconds left, I no longer had that option. Okay. However, let me close back out of that. So the timing tool, and again, a lot of tools here, if you don't have them, you will get them. They roll a lot of these things out. I have some things, and then on Broadway Husbands that aren't actually available on this account, and I'll show you what those are. So here is the speed of the camera. If you want to slow down the camera, you can go to 0.3. If you want to speed up, you can go 3, 2, 3, 4, right? You can slow it down or speed it up. So if I choose any of those, when I go to record, just so you know, when you go to record anything fast, it slows down the camera significantly. I'll show you what I mean. So this is 4x. If I do something like this, and I move my hand back and forth, and I tap that, and then we go and watch that by clicking next. That's as much as it recorded because it was recording in such a fast speed. So don't be surprised, especially with audio, if you're doing any sort of dubbing or anything like that. This is a great trick to be able to lip sync perfectly, is to speed it up just like a smidge, just one tap, because it'll slow down the audio so you can sync your lips just a little bit better. I know I have a few friends that do that. I do not. Okay, so you have the speed here. Then this is relatively new. This is called layout. And with layout, you can actually change the layout of your reels by, it splits the camera into multiple cameras. What I mean by that, and I'll show you, is this is now 2 cameras. It's set to record this side of the camera first. So if I press record, I will record, right? Now that that's recorded, I can then record. It's now opened up this side, and I can record. Now I've recorded both sides, and you can see they're both very different. You have, I'm going to delete the video. You have, what's really cool with layout is you have multiple different types of layouts you can use. You can do side by side like this. You can do up and down. You can change layouts. So you have 3 with a larger one on top and then 2 on bottom. You can change it so you have 3 stacked. You can do 4. You can do 6. This is really cool because if you're somebody, let's say a singer who wants to harmonize, this is a great way to figure that out. This is also great to do collaborations. So if you want to be at the same location as somebody, but you can't be there at the same time, you could film yourselves being at that location. You could talk to yourself having a conversation with a potential client, you know, like if you wanted to be face to face, like ask the question, answer the question, that kind of thing. So it's a really fun new feature that I haven't seen a lot of people use, which means if you use it, you might get a little bit more traction in your reels. And then lastly, I think this is the most important tool. Do you hear me? The most important tool is the timer. This is something I don't see enough people use. The timer is what helps you, you can do a 3-second or a 10-second countdown for when you start recording. This is essential for capturing really, really good content because, by the way, you can slide where you want it to stop. It would play the audio automatically. So you could slide, let's say you want to record just a little bit of the audio and you want to change positions. You would set this to stop where you want the audio to stop before you change positions. You could set the countdown for 10 or 3 seconds, depending on how much time you have to get into position. And then you set the timer. This gives you time to back away, to be able to get into frame and etc. So once you press record, it will then do this countdown. You have those 10 seconds to get into position. And once it starts the countdown, you can't do anything until it stops, by the way. And once it's recording, you can stop, of course, and you can cancel, discard this video. Now, we will be talking about effects. And if you ever use Instagram stories, you've probably seen effects before because these are all things that would be dripped in down there. But there's also, I think a lot of people don't utilize these enough that you can actually go in here and you can search for effects. You can bookmark effects, which is what I've done for the ones I use the most. You've probably seen my iPhone mock-up if you follow me, the green screen, etc. And you can also see what people use mostly on their reels here to see what's trending as well, because that can help drive your traffic to algorithms. So you would tap on those 3 stars. It will open up the effects. If you don't want to use this effect that is selected with the blue square around it, you can just tap, it will release it. You can tap on the one you do want to use, or you can release that, and then you tap back here on the camera to go back to your camera. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about one more thing, which is down here in the bottom left. This is how you access your photo album. So if you've pre-recorded things, for instance, I am working on an Instagram reel about our son's 5-month. So I pre-recorded a bunch of content. So I can actually go in here and scroll through. I can tap up here on the left if I favorited things. I can go to recents. I can see all my photo albums, and if you're somebody who likes to be organized, it's probably a good idea to go in and organize these things. But this is great for those last minute days where you're like, I gotta make a reel. Scrolling through here and being like, what videos have I shot? You should always be shooting video. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, get the content, because there are days where maybe you aren't feeling so excited about what's happening. You can but you need to make a reel, right? If you're trying to make a daily reel, this is important to have this kind of content in here. So if I tap up here, you can see a little bit of the reel that we started to make with him. And once I've tapped on that and it opens up the video, I can, of course, over here, I can speed it up if I want. I can slow it down. I can also go down here and I can trim the portion I want to use. If I don't want to use all of it, maybe I just want to use this little bit and I want to do it normal speed, or I want to do it a little faster. Whoop, right? Then I can just click add and it will add that to the reel. You can do this at any point in creating your reel. So if let's say I added that, you'll see up here in the top, the little red, that is that little clip of Maverick. I can now tap on this and record something if I want to talk about it. I can stop recording here. And then if I click next, you'll see it starts with that. And then now here I am talking about it, right? Such a great way to save yourself some time if you're needing to make a reel and it's last minute. Now, the last thing I want to talk about as we wind up this tutorial is your camera positioning. The reason why I think the timer is the best tool to be aware of is because what it does is it gives you time to step away from the camera. For instance, this reel. I have this on a tripod, much like this one. I've put a link down here below. If you don't have a tripod, I highly suggest you get one of these portable ones. Or something else that you can check out is something called a flip stick. I'll show you actually on the back of this. A flip stick, if I flip this around, is actually attachable to your phone. It opens up like this. And this can stick to any smooth surface. So if you have a window nearby, any smooth surface, the refrigerator, this is a great way to get the camera into position. Because what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to set that timer and step away so that you can get your full body in frame. What people don't want to see, if I'm really honest, they don't want to see up your nose, right? They want to see your eyes. See how my eyes are right in this center frame. So make sure when you're shooting, you're stepping back in some way. You've got it eye level. You can see your face. What I don't want to see over the next 28 days is anyone shooting like this. Shooting like this. Let's not do that. We want to get a nice, good, tight, full body frame, get your eyes in view if you are, of course, shooting content that involves your face. So that is why I think this timer feature is the best feature, because most people, you've probably seen this, you see them tapping on record and then stepping back. This gives you the time you need to step back. You've got 10 seconds to step back and get into position. So that is your Reels tutorial for today. I can't wait to see you tomorrow.